Hi, my name is Courtney Terry, and this is Arts Alive. My guest today, again, Angela Manginelli, here to talk to us. It's even closer than it was the last time we talked about the McMinnville Short Film Festival.
It's true. We're like 2 weeks, 3 weeks closer now.
Yes.
We're very excited. The pop-ups have all been done.
Yes.
We completed those. They were all successful. And now we are focusing on December 15th, because that is when all of the films, all of the screenplays, and the Indigenous Filmmaker Grant applications are all due. So if you take nothing else away, December 15th is the day when everything is due.
Yeah, and so the screenmaker, or the screenmaker? No,
Screenplay writers, yes, thank you. The screenwriter.
Yep. That's a relatively new category this year, right?
It is brand new for 2025, and we are super excited about it. We have Jonathan Raymond, who is an author and a screenplay writer, who is going to be basically working with the number one chosen finalist, and we'll be doing a one-on-one Zoom and giving notes on the film, which is such an incredible opportunity. For those of you not aware, Jonathan Raymond, he worked on the 2011 miniseries Mildred Pierce, which was a Todd Haynes production, and he was actually Emmy nominated. Both of them co-wrote it and were Emmy nominated for that. So we're incredibly lucky to have him, and we've had a record number of submissions, and we are excited to have even more and just really see what sort of stories that people are excited to tell.
Yeah, I'm a little curious about how, the approach to, because they're not submitting a film, they're submitting writing.
Correct.
And so I guess what kind of parts of the screenwriting process compared to the overall film production I guess where it seems like those would be kind of two separate, but I'm not making sense right now.
No, I know what you mean.
Okay.
It's sort of a lead in, right? You can't have a film without the screenplay.
Yes.
And this, what I think is interesting, and obviously my background personally is not in film, but I've learned a lot in working with the film festival since June. So I think it's where the story begins, right? And so what we're looking for is for screenplay writers who have a strong perspective, who have a story that they're really interested in telling, whether it be a personal story or about a community or a place that they care about, and really just getting an idea. You know, we know that what they submit is not necessarily going to be the final film that is made. Iterative process filmmaking is, but it's really just interesting to see sort of what are the raw materials and what are the inspiration points, because you can tell a lot just from that about what kind of film that they want to make. And so I think one of the reasons I'm personally excited about Jonathan Raymond working with us on this is that he has experience as an author, taking his own writing and moving it into the screenplay space.
Right.
Which is very different, right? Like writing a book is very different than writing a screenplay. And he has experience with both. And so I think he is going to be uniquely positioned to help our screenplay writers, especially if they might be earlier in their career, to really kind of know what you can do to be the most successful in that screenplay writing space.
Yeah, and I can only imagine when they come to the film festival, getting to be in that space with the film producers and being like, my idea is here, and this is what the final project would look like. I imagine that would just be so inspiring for screenwriters to do.
And such an incredible opportunity. I mean, I know I mentioned in our last conversation, like, our film festival is incredibly accessible. We are all sitting in the same cinema watching the films together.
Right.
We're all at the Q&As together, and so you have an opportunity as a filmmaker or a screenplay writer, or no matter what your role is within the film space, to be able to meet people who have incredible experience, have done this before, right? It's not their first time at the rodeo.
Right.
And then there's also folks that it is their first time, and they're learning so much, just sort of taking it all in. That's one of the things that I loved working as a volunteer last year, is seeing people come in and maybe they were a little bit trepidatious or a little shy and didn't know what to expect. And then by the end of the weekend, they've made friends with folks and they're feeling a sense of community that they're going to take with them outside of the festival. Like, to me, that is one of the most beautiful things about it, is that people are meeting each other and building an even better, a stronger community than what they had coming in. So
yes, and just the people that you meet, and I feel like I know I feel this way about state library conferences, where like, you are in a community with people who care very much about what you, and you leave afterwards, and it's the experiences you've had, but you take away all these little like kernels of ideas that then like feed you the rest of the year.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that analogy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just it's an exciting weekend anyway, and the fact that we got to add an additional day this year. Heather Older, who is our executive director of the film festival, she is in the film industry, and so she is curating the weekend. I mean, she's working with several of us to do that, but she is bringing that perspective. She's been to a lot of festivals, and she knows what she, as a filmmaker, wants to see in a festival. And so I think that makes our festival a little bit different, because we are still we're still growing, right?
Yeah.
Next year, not this year's festival, but the following 2026 is our 15th anniversary, right? So in some ways we're established, but we're still an accessible size, right? I love that people get to really have a lot of one-on-one interaction with everyone that's at the festival.
Yeah.
And we have, I mentioned last time, we have 11 different categories. So comedy, drama, experimental, sci-fi, horror, animation, locals, college, Oregon filmmakers. Like that might have been 11 all right there. We have something for everyone. Yeah. And so no matter what kind of either story you want to tell or story you want to see, you can find something there, right? And we program the blocks in such a way that they're all together. So comedies are all going to show together. Horror films and sci-fi and suspense are all going to show together. And so if you have an area that you're really interested in, you can come and do a deep dive and get to see a lot of stories in that category, which is really amazing.
Yes. Well, it's not the experience that most people get during the year with their movie going experience.
Absolutely.
And in terms, I guess, also local stories that are important, the Indigenous filmmakers category and the grant process for that. That sounds so cool.
Yes, so this grant is made possible with Oregon Film, and it's a $10,000 grant for either an individual or a filmmaking team to tell an Indigenous and Native American story. And so we are looking for films that are at any stage of production. Right? If you are in that script writing space and you're in what we call pre-production, great. Submit your application. If you have started working on your film, filmmaking costs a lot of money, right? It takes a lot of money to get a film made, even a short film. And so our goal with this, we have been partnering with the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde for more than a decade. And we are, as a film festival, very committed to sharing stories from underrepresented communities, especially the Indigenous community. And so our goal with this is to help amplify those stories even more and allow some of the barriers that might have been present for a filmmaker to be a little bit more removed, right? So $10,000 may not get them all the way there, but it's going to take hopefully a huge weight off of their shoulders when making the film. And then all of our films are 20 minutes or less, so they're going to have an opportunity, once they've received the grant, to be able to show it at the McMinnville Short Film Festival and get it sort of started in the process of going out to different festivals.
And we provide with the runway for
exactly mentorship and a really welcoming audience. Like, that's one of the things that I appreciate is we don't just have folks that are local coming to the film festival. We certainly have great representation from within McMinnville, but we also have a huge portion of our population that's coming from outside of the state of Oregon even. I know last year we had stories that were international that were debuting at our film festival.
Oh, wow.
And so it's really cool when we live in a community that's 35,000 people that we have access to stories that are global. not just in our own backyard, but across the globe. And I can tell you, having started to watch the submissions this year, we have a record number, and we have folks from all over the globe that have submitted. So for me, it's amazing to see that McMinnville Short Film Festival has that appeal, right? That folks in the UK have heard about us, that folks in Turkey have heard about us and are submitting their films. Like, that's incredible to me. And the fact that hopefully they will be able to attend and also get to impact our community and share their experience, and we can share ours and show them, the amazing place that we live, and then we all leave changed.
For
done.
the better.
For the better, yeah. Done and done. And seen, It's the more time that I spend working with the festival, the more impressed that I am by it. Because it's just, one, it's so much work that goes into it, but it's so cool that we have this in our community. So many small communities or smaller communities don't have this, right? And so the fact that we do, I just think is really incredible and special. And I'm excited to see not only what we do this year, but also how we continue. I know the screenwriters contest is going to continue after this year. So we're building the foundation for something that we're going to continue for hopefully years to come.
And that's so exciting. And I don't think we can stress enough, like what you said about how accessible, most folks, if they want to see a short film, it's have to drive up to Portland,
right.
Or like you have to leave the county
Yes.
to be able to, and just the fact that it is here and it is so accessible.
And one of the things that we're doing, even though the festival is coming up soon, I'm already programming for next year. So after the festival is done, we're going to start the pop-ups back up again. I am actively reaching out to businesses and organizations and trying to make sure that also spaces that you don't normally get to see a film in, all of a sudden you can. We just, earlier this week, we were at the Senior Center, we were at the library earlier in the month. We've been at wineries and different breweries, and so that is something that we're going to continue doing. And I'm really excited to just see how many pop-ups we have next year, and all the different stories that we get to showcase beyond what we did this year.
Yeah, I am next year. I didn't make it this year, but if you did a horror pop-up and you did want to do scary films, I would still come to watch it.
Excellent, excellent.
But it's just the pop-ups are so exciting too, because it's that kind of, again, it's the kind of, we don't have very many of these in the community, and so.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, my biggest role in my role my biggest job, I should say, is to make sure that people know we exist, right?
Yeah.
And having volunteered with the festival but didn't know about it until a friend got involved, I am my target audience, right? I'm looking for people like myself who have lived in Mac and no matter how long, maybe didn't realize that we existed, or they've heard of us, but they didn't think it was for them, or they didn't know exactly what to expect. And so that, to me, is why the pop-ups and joining you here is so important, just to make sure that people know that there's a place for them, that we're excited to have them. And I'm all up for ideas. If you have an idea of like how you want to see films, reach out to me. Our website is McMinnvillefilmfest.org.
Thank you.
Pardon me. And people can reach out to me personally at outreach@McMinnvillefilmfest.org. And I'm always happy to chat with folks and tell them more about what we have, and kind of, we have opportunities for volunteering. So if folks they're like, I want to volunteer and I'm not sure about this. It is one of the most fun volunteer opportunities ever. If you like short films, you get to help check people in, and then you get to go and watch the block. So it's a really fun, easy way to also support folks in the community and be able to, again, just help make this thing happen.
Yes. It is happening.
It is.
So when is the film festival?
So the film festival, thank you for asking, is February 27th through March 2nd. So Thursday through Sunday, and there are events outside of the screenings. We also have kind of different mixer events. We're still finalizing all of those, but we'll have something every day where folks have an opportunity to engage outside of McMinnville Cinema 10 with the attendees.
Cool.
And then the deadline for submitting your screenplays and your films and the Indigenous application, December 15th. Correct, which is a Sunday. So mark your calendars. You can follow us on Instagram at @MacFilmFest. We post reminders on there regularly. Yeah, we're just really excited to continue growing the festival and really getting ramped up for our 15th year,
yes.
Looking ahead even.
Oh, and there's so many exciting things that are going on. So
yeah.
Thank you and the whole team for all your hard work.
Thank you for having us and continuing to support what we're doing.
Of course.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. My name is Courtney Terry, and this has been Arts of Life.